Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Stampin' Up with Jamie for my Wednesday night Facebook Live tutorial. Thank you so much for joining me if you're catching this on repeat on my blog or on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. I'm just going to get comments going here on my computer, and there we go. And I'm also looking for my Boom folder because I always forget it, and so I figured I'd grab it now because inevitably I'll be shuffling for it later. Let's see here. Okay, good. Okay, so tonight's card, it's on the simpler side. However, I just love this little bit here. Ever since I saw the honeybee stamp set, this guy here, I've kind of had the idea of doing the words kind of like one over the other, kind of like encasing the bee, so to speak. So I wanted to play around with that a little bit today. Hi, ladies. Good evening. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me. Oh, thanks, Terry. I'm so glad you like it. So we're going to just jump right in. I am going to do one thing a little different, and I'm going to switch around my colors. So just give me a second here. So this one I have a basic black as my card base, and then I have Whisper White that is matted on Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to switch them around, and then you guys can tell me which one you like more. So tonight I'm going to use the Daffodil Delight as my card base, and then the Whisper White I'm going to mat on the basic black, and then so it's going to look a little kind of sort of like reversed. So when we're all said and done, you'll have to tell me which one you like more, and then we'll stick with that one, I guess. So, okay, well, while I have these two pieces out, let me go ahead and just adhere them over. So this is 3.5 by 5.5. Hi, oh, I'm not going to say your name right. Renice, I hope I say that right. And Karen, Barb, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. So happy to have you here. I know, I love the bees too. They were like the bundle that caught my eye in the mini catalog. I just think they're so cute. So and then the basic black is just 1/8 bigger. So it's, oh boy, it's 3 5/8 by 5.5. And then I just matted one on the other. I'm going to set this aside for a moment. So I'm going to stamp the sentiment, the wishing you sunshine and happiness, which is kind of stamped twice opposite each other. And I'm going to tell you ahead of time that I'm going to inevitably have to get out my trimmer here and cut. So the cardstock that I'm starting off with, you just need one that's big enough. So this is like 3.5 by 3 3/4, 3 3/4. And it just needs to be big enough. And then I'm going to trim it down because no matter how hard I try, although watch it happen now, live camera, I can't get this straight. And so it's always a little cockeyed. And so I just find it then, worrying about fussy, being particular and trying to get it straight, just stamp it and then let the trimmer make it straight. So that's kind of what I did. So wishing you sunshine and happiness, I'm going to stamp it twice in the Memento black ink here. Ink it up real well. My Memento just is getting a lot of love in lately, so I want to stamp him up well. And first I'm going to stamp one that way. See, it's not exactly, oh, I guess that's pretty good. Of course, when I did it before, it was totally cockeyed. So I figured I would let the trimmer do the hard work and make it straight. Hi, Christina. Hi, Beth. Hello, everyone. So now I'm just kind of eyeballing it and going opposite, leaving a little bit of a space. Again, in theory, yep, we're good. In theory, that should be opposite each other and work, and it did. Of course, I only did it once before tonight, so that was either a fluke or it worked. And actually, it's pretty straight, but like I said before, it wasn't. So what happens if, hold on, let me get a scrap piece of paper to show you what I do when I don't stamp it straight, because it didn't happen before. So let's just say I stamp it and it's like that, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm trying to stamp on a square, and I really want it even. Oh, of course, that one didn't stamp straight. So this is what I do. You got to get your trimmer, and let's see here. It's hard for me to do completely sideways, and of course I have lights here, so hopefully I can do this. So what I do is I kind of ignore my edge here and figure out what should be my edge. So can you see this? I guess you can kind of see it. So this word is kind of even with this part of the trimmer, and that one with that. And then I just kind of pulled out until I knew it was past, I could cut it and it wouldn't catch it. And then I cut, okay? So this is now my straight line to cut everything else straight. So if I butt that up, now keep in mind my stamping wasn't too perfect. And then from there I just keep going I keep turning it around and then turn it around till the end, it's straight. Does that make sense? Hi, Mom. So again, if you don't stamp straight on your square, just make sure you are stamping on a bigger piece of Whisper White that can be trimmed down, and then just kind of make a straight line, and then according to that, just keep making your cuts. Now this one is, I don't know, it's so funny. This one's actually pretty spot on, but for the sake of things, I'll do it. And I actually didn't even cut my basic black because I wasn't quite sure what my final measurement was going to be here. So we'll see. And then I just keep turning it around. A little closer. Is that too close? No. Okay, and then one final turn. I am keeping an eye on my measurements because I want to be able to cut an easy mat. Oh, this one's going to be a little tricky. Is that good? Great alignment tip. Good. I'm glad you find that helpful. Okay, so that's where I'm left with. While I have my trimmer out, I'm going to go ahead and cut my basic black. Again, I wasn't sure exactly what size I was going to need in the end. So let me just quickly measure this up. This ends up being 2.5 by 2 7/8. So 2.5, so I need 2 5/8. And then I need it to go by 3, I think, if that's correct. I think my original one that I did in my sample here is a little bigger. I think it was more like 3. Is that right? Hold on. Yep, okay, so we have a good mat. So where's my card? Here it is. Okay, so yeah, this one is definitely bigger. I don't know, I must have, oh, I guess it's not that much bigger. So it ends up being, in case you're curious, the white ends up being 2.5 by 2 7/8. And then the black is just 1/8 bigger. So 2 5/8 by 3. Okay, so while we have this out, I'm gonna need a dauber, a sponge dauber, so fun, and Daffodil Delight ink. And then what all I wanted to do was kind of create kind of like a little bit of like a hint, a yellow hint, highlight, hint, whatever you want to call it, background for the bee. Very subtle. I didn't want it to be like anything super, super bright. Just kind of giving a little hint, okay? And while I'm doing this, I just want to remind everyone that I am holding a special right now, an ordering special. For any order of $50 or more, I'm throwing in a free package of cardstock of your choice, so you can pick any color that you like. And that will be in addition to your regularly $9 item. So any order right now, $50 or more, gets you a $9 item from me, as well as a free package of cardstock. So I chose cardstock because cardstock is just one of those things that we always need. I don't know where you are, what kind of projects you're doing, crafting, cards, home decor, we always need cardstock. So I thought I'd help kind of stock you up a little bit. Okay, back to the card. So I'm using a sponge dauber. They're kind of fun. You can kind of fit your finger in there. And I'm very, very gently tapping the Daffodil Delight ink. I'm not pressing too hard because I really don't want a lot of color coming out. And I'm actually going to kind of like wipe a little bit of it off because I'd rather build and start off light and build from there, than have like this big glob of yellow and not really be able to take it off. So, and then I'm just not really picking the sponge up. I'm really just rubbing the cardstock here. And I do want to go, this one, my sample here, I got all done. I was like, oh, I wish I had just gone a little bit higher and a little bit lower. So I want to make sure I do that. I may have to do my bee and then see if it needs more. Again, very subtle, just kind of a nice background to the bee. Okay, I'm gonna put this aside because I want to see how my bee ends up stamping, and then if I need to, I can always come back and add more color. And I just realized I need another scrap piece of white. Okay, so scrap piece of white. So let's stamp our bee here in the Honeybee stamp set. So I'm using this sentiment with the larger of the two bees. You do get two. I'm using the larger of the two. And it does coincide, coordinate beautifully with the detailed bee dies, which are so fun. I just love these. So this cuts out both the bees, the flowers, this beautiful honeycomb, I think it's called. I always get them mixed up, this. And then kind of a standalone bee, and then the beehive. My last video that I did with the bees, I got the terminology all wrong. So I hope I'm right this time. The bee, I'm going to go ahead and stamp him up just in the Memento Black ink again. On just a scrap piece of white. You're going to be cutting them out, so it doesn't have to be, look, mine's scrap. I cut the flowers out at the other end. And then just wait until it's a little dry. If not, you're going to smear. So I'm using light and dark Daffodil Delight Stampin' blends markers. I'm going to use both, primarily the light one. These are 2 ends, so we have more of a fine tip and then of a brush end. I'm going to use the fine end tip, and I'm going to just color his bum. Just give him a little bit of a color here. And then I'm going to come with the darker one. Again, it's two-sided. I'm going to use the fine tip and give just a little bit of a hint kind of in the edges, just to make them look a little roundy, more rounded. Very subtle. You can barely even tell it's there, but you know, it's there. And then I'm going to take that bee. Again, keep in mind when you're using our new dies to go right up to the image. You're not necessarily going to have that white outline when you're trying to line them up. And then I'm going to just cut it off camera here with my die cutting machine. So run it through, and out he comes. Come on, there we go. So fun. Oh, he's so cute. I'm telling you, I love this set so much. Okay, let me just kind of get a feel for how big that bee is. I think that's fine. Let's see. You can't get on board with this set? Oh, I'm sorry, Heather. I think it's so fun. I love it. It like screams summertime. In this, when spring starts to hit here in upstate New York, we always get like this like abundance of bees that start to swarm everywhere. When we first moved into the house, I was like, what is going on? There were bees everywhere. And I don't know, I've been here a while now, so I'm kind of like, makes me a little nostalgic when they come out. Okay, so I'm just going to adhere him down with Stampin' Dimensionals, again, to kind of, so you see that Daffodil Delight kind of poking through. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Before I do that, let's mat it. But it is going to go down with Dimensionals. So this is just getting matted on that basic black. Again, I gave you the measurements earlier. And then the bee with Stampin' Dimensionals. Again, to kind of highlight that yellow that's underneath him, kind of poking through a little bit. Very subtle, but it's there. Okay, so here's our card again. And of course, I've lost the card. There it is. I always always lose the card I'm working on. Again, if you're just turning in, I flip-flopped colors. So I'm doing a card base of Daffodil Delight tonight. And then you can tell me which one you guys like more. I went ahead of time and cut out with that one die 2 honeycombs out of Daffodil Delight cardstock. I'm going to glue them down with, me too, Kim, with liquid glue. And I don't have to like really make sure it's completely, you know, I don't have to hit every piece on this, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Just kind of get like the outside bits. The liquid glue is super strong and permanent. It'll hold it all down. You know, don't be, I guess I'm saying you don't have to be too particular about it. And I did one. So I think the honeycomb goes this way. I don't think it goes like straight. I think it's supposed to go pointy. So I did one kind of up here in the corner. And then I did another one down in the, more in like the left-hand corner here. Well, ends up being kind of in the middle, but to the left of the sentiment. Again, this is Daffodil Delight. I think this would look pretty in the Mango Melody, or even like the Crushed Curry. But it's so funny because I don't like yellow, but here we go. I think if you're doing bees, you have to do yellow. Oh, thanks so much. I'm so glad you like it. So this one, I'm just gonna kind of get a feel of where it should go and then line it up because I want enough of it peeking through, but not too much. So I don't know. I kind of just eyeball it. I don't think you can go wrong. Okay. So let's set that aside, although I'll inevitably lose it and not know where I left it. Okay, so next I'm going to use the Daffodil Delight Rouged ribbon. Again, that's in the mini catalog. And I'm also going to use some Whisper White Baker's Twine. So I'm going to wrap the Daffodil Delight around and then tie a bow in it, in it. So, oh, do I have scissors? Yep, come on, they're hiding under my die cutting machine. There we go. So I'll kind of give you a rough measurement. Let me eyeball it here and then I'll tell you more or less how much it ends up being. I didn't do this ahead of time. So this ends up being, oh, about 9.5 inches. I'll probably trim it a little bit, but more or less 9.5 inches for the Daffodil Delight Rouged ribbon. This is really nice ribbon. It's got some nice texture to it, which I really think is kind of adds some fun to the card. That one is bothering me. It's not really clipped on an edge, I mean, angle. Not edge, angle. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, thank you. Okay, so then for the ribbon, I don't know. I cut way too much. There's no way I need all this. This is like 11.5 inches. I went a bit exaggerating on it, but I always rather cut too much and then trim than cut and have it be too short and then I'm like fiddling with it. So when I did it earlier today, I didn't glue down the Daffodil Delight yet because I wasn't exactly sure how high I wanted it up on my card. So if you are good at tying a knot while holding another ribbon down, that's what I would suggest. Otherwise, it is a little tricky. You may want to just tack it down a little bit. But I wanted to be able to kind of move it up, and of course it's kind of like exactly where I want it, but I wanted to be able to move it up and down. So tie that in a knot and then tie it a bow, pull it through. Now, if you ever noticed about ribbon and it twisting, oh, I can't stand when the ribbon twists. That's why I rarely do bows, quite honestly. But a tip that I would give is, so I kind of get the tail sort of out and then like it's way too big. So I put my finger on the knot and I pull the tail. And if you do that, it doesn't twist. So pull, and then it doesn't twist. Sometimes, like these guys here, they'll just twist on you. It's amazing how you make a great card from nothing. Love it. Oh, thanks, Mom. Such an encourager. And then I'm going to trim it. So I trimmed off probably, wow, okay, I trimmed off like 3 inches. So you definitely don't need quite as much as I told you ahead of time, but, and I like, I don't know, I like big tails. Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere that on the card. And then the other thing is, like I said, you could put a little bit of adhesive back here to kind of hold your ribbon in place. But if it's too like saggy, I always just put like a little adhesive and then kind of like bring together the edges, and it makes it nice and tight. So those are my tips. Hi, Jewel. Oh, thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. I'm glad you're able to join me. So that goes there. Okay, we're nearly done. Of course, I just put my finger in the glue. Okay, no big deal. And next, so that's my sample. Let me grab dimensionals. I'm gonna adhere this down with dimensionals as well. I'm gonna just go the tops and the corners because I want to avoid that ribbon. If I go over that ribbon, then it's gonna be like lumpy. It's not gonna be flat. So peel those off. Whoops. And so I'm almost done here. If you've been watching, if you'd like a chance to win tonight's card, you have a couple more minutes to leave a comment of some sort. And as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna go ahead and draw a name for someone to win tonight's card. And then you're gonna have to let me know which one you want. If you want the basic black one or if you want the Daffodil Delight. 2 cards, same design, different colors. And I do feel like they kind of look differently. That is not on. Well, it's on. I'm not moving it. It's a little to the right, but that's okay. I think this one might be too. So there you go. That's my card for tonight. Keep in mind again that I have that the special, the deal that's going on right now for free card stock. This goes on until February 29th. You have plenty of time to place your orders. Go ahead and place your orders and then let me know what card stock you'd like, and I'll get that out in the mail to you for free. And also, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to pick a name for someone to win tonight's card, and just let me know which one you want, and I'll get that in the mail for you as well. Thank you everyone so much for joining with me tonight. I've had so much fun, and I hope to see you next week again. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. Bye-bye.